Good morning, everyone. Day 3 is upon us. I hope everyone is doing well. This morning I'm going to read from a small pamphlet called The Chicago Addresses. In 1893, as Swami Vivekananda came to the Parliament of Religions held in Chicago. It was one of the first gatherings of its kind where the world religions all got together to discuss. And this book is basically his discussions or his teachings at that parliament. And it's interesting to note that at this Parliament of Religions, really all the religions got up one at a time and talked about their greatness and their specialness and their uniqueness, and which is quite common. We're all very proud of our religions, our nationalities, our whatever, our families, all these different little bondages that we hook our boat to keep it from getting anywhere, as it were. But Vivekananda came in 1893, and he came to the country, and he said some things that were quite lovely, that really opened my mind and have so improved my life. One of those things that he said was that, he came not to convert, not to make a Christian a Hindu, or a Hindu a Muslim, or a Muslim a Hindu. He said, God forbid. He said, I come that a Christian may be a better Christian, that a Hindu might be a better Hindu, that a Muslim might be a better Muslim. And I really took that into my heart, really decided that really my role is never to be a teacher, God forbid, but to be a cheerleader. And to honor wherever anybody is at, in whatever tradition they're following, in whatever ideal that they have found, to simply encourage and to try and water that plant where it's planted so that it grows and is a full blooming plant, as it were. So Vivekananda, toward the end of one of his lectures, he says, the present convention, which is one of the most august assemblies ever held, is in itself a vindication, a declaration to the world of a wonderful doctrine preached in the Gita. Whosoever comes to me, through whatsoever form I reach him. All men are struggling through paths which in the end lead to me. So he quoted there to us, saying that every person really, and this is the beauty of true spirituality, is it allows you to love and respect every single person where they are and in what they are. And in that love, to be able to find a way to sit next to them, to investigate their thought, to investigate their ideal, because in knowing that all religions lead to the same goal, that every effort toward our ideal, our highest ideal, will be fruitful, that in the end all of us will sit at the feet of our beloved in gladness and success and in oneness. So clearly a metaphor altogether. But to have that ideal, he goes on to say here, whosoever comes to me, through whatsoever form I reach him, all men are struggling through the paths which in the end lead to me. Sectarianism, bigotry, and its horrible descendant fanaticism have long possessed this beautiful earth. They have filled the earth with violence, drenched it often with human blood, destroyed civilization, and sent whole nations to despair. Had it not been for these horrible demons, human society would be far more advanced than it is now. But their time is come, and I fervently hope that the bell that tolled this morning in honor of this convention may be the death knell of all fanaticism, of all persecutions with the sword or with the pen, and of all uncharitable feelings between persons wending their way to the one and same goal. So this beautiful ideal of this sectarianism, this fanaticism, which is infecting the world, has always infected the world. And it doesn't belong to any one particular religion. All religions are one. We are all from the same seed, that Sanatana Dharma, that one jewel of religion. And each religion is but a facet of that one jewel, the sages taught. And that the whole jewel can be enjoyed and appreciated through any one of its facets. But not any one of its facets is the whole gem itself. And so the problem with this fanaticism is the fact that the one goal of all religions is the death of the ego. In Christianity it is no longer I who live, but the Christ who lives in me. St. Paul saying that you give up this idea of your body and mind and its needs and its desires that exclude others and that try to trump others in their needs and their desires, to escape that and to find the oneness inside. I talk about that all the time because it is the one most important thing for the joy of our own life and for the beauty of the world in general, to really weigh on that notion. What happens is, in our religion, when we mix it with ego, that's when it becomes fanaticism. My religion's the only religion. My religion's the best religion. My religion's the oldest religion. My religion's the biggest religion. My religion's the purest, the best, the highest, the only, the latest, the greatest, whatever it is. We take all of those limitations and restrictions of mind and we assign them to the infinite, which makes no sense, which is why they call our biggest problem is our own ignorance, our own misunderstanding of the idea that God is everywhere present and always perfect. So take that into account. Anytime there's a barrier, anytime there's a line, ego is involved. Anytime there's a distinction between you and another, ego is involved. Anytime you feel annoyance, only egos can be annoyed. Anytime you feel anger, only egos can be angered. So count it a blessing. When somebody is annoying you, don't pay attention to them as the annoyer. It's impossible. They cannot annoy you unless you give part of your power to them to annoy you. As the Buddha says, not every gift has to be received. And as long as it's not received, it's in the hands of the other. So when you are finding those barriers, when you're feeling that annoyance from someone, take a moment and find out where that annoyance is. Chances are the universe, the beloved, your own self, however you want to refer to it, is trying to point out to you a boundary of your ego, to give you a warning sign. This is where your dissension is coming from. This will cause suffering to you at some point. This is the result of some attachment, something that you're holding on to that was meant to pass, was meant to flow with time, and you're holding it and trying to give it a part of your immortality, and it won't work out well for you in that way. So in this sense, know that every single person out there, regardless of what your impression is of them, regardless of what your personal understanding is of them, or your personal feelings of them, every one of us is trying our very best to reach the highest ideal. And every one of us is looking to each other to help us find that way. And we should, in our best effort, be sincere, loving cheerleaders toward each other reaching our highest ideals. Make that your day today. Let's realize Vivekananda's vision of oneness, of mutual respect and love and honor, and that intertwined service that comes from our inherent oneness, our inherent freedom and love.